This experience I'm about to share with you stems back throughout my early years. These are true experiences I have gone through, some with others and some alone. Take it as you feel the need to. Question yourself on these accounts. Do they sound familiar? Do they resonate? Always question. You will receive the answers within or without. Either way, you will come to understand that there is so much more to this reality. Okay, here we go. October 9th, 2018. I don't know what time it was when I woke up. It felt like seconds in between my eyes opening and hearing a familiar noise or sound. I say familiar because I remember hearing this before, maybe even a few times. Well, as I opened my eyes, I saw a thin, tall pink being walking towards me from my bedroom window. My first instinct was to get up and run, but instead I just laid there frozen to my bed. Breathing in short breaths, frozen with fear, his hand reached out towards me and placed it on top of my head. As soon as he did, I heard a high-pitched squealing sound wave flow through my brain, followed by a bright light. My whole body stiffened up. The feelings in my arms and hands tightened. The grips in my hands felt clenched beyond my ability to grip naturally. My legs stiffened so much it was raised off the bed a few inches. I felt every part of my body frozen from his touch. Thoughts ran through my brain while going through this process. It was like I was being put back into my body with two different thoughts happening simultaneously, overlapping each other. I was telling myself, it's okay. They are just laying me back down, repeating over and over, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. As quickly as all this happened, it was done. As my body softened with the thoughts of relaxing, feeling my bed under me, I remember listening to the meditation track on my phone. It sounded like it was looping and slowly restarting again, like an old record player turned on with the needle already in place. I felt myself jolt awake, and as soon as I could, I jumped up and ran into my son and daughter's room checking on them. They were both sound asleep. I was so surprised that they didn't hear anything that had just happened. I mean, if I had just seen an alien, I would think I would have been screaming on the top of my lungs. As I closed the door to my son's room, I was starting to see images, as though I was watching from someone else's point of view. I quickly walked back to my room and sat on my bed. Closing my eyes, remembering what had just happened, I could see images appear in no particular order. As my memory slowly came back, I started to see flashes or snippets of where I had been. It felt huge, it felt strange, but not scary for some reason, like I knew I'd been there before. I don't remember the actual ship I boarded, but I do remember the bigger ship. As I stepped out into a small room, I was greeted by a female who looked human, but not quite. She was taller. I would say she cleared the 6-foot mark easily. Blonde hair, blue eyes, very beautiful. She was perfect. As we made our way, it started to feel as though I was being given a grand tour. I was joined by a few others, women and men from Earth dressed in their human clothing, looking up all around them. By the way they were reacting, I can tell this happened a few times already for them. They looked relaxed. One fellow looked as if he was saying finally with his hands up in the air. Every human that I saw had a companion walking with them. The corridor we walked through was as wide as a football stadium. Not the length, the width. It was wide. Many forms of alien life walking about their business. I was startled to see so many. But I was loving this. I felt like I was home, like I belonged. It felt comfortable. We came to an entrance that led to a room that was filled with holographic images. They looked to be a few different groups of humans with their companions, all of them conversing with one another. It's as though they were being given information as to what they were seeing. The group I was walking with had split up. We were shown different areas of the room individually. I felt as though I couldn't get enough, like I couldn't take in what I was seeing fast enough. There was a lot going on, yet it never felt overwhelming. I walked over to what looked like a huge holographic platform. She pointed up while speaking about this infinite structure I am seeing. I can't remember what she was saying. I do remember her speaking her language. However, being back here on Earth, my human brain couldn't comprehend. What I saw was a form of eternity. She showed me what looked like an elongated cell in the middle of the screen. Then it panned out to show this long cell is sitting beside two others, so three side by side. With her hand up towards the holographic cell, she panned out again, and I could see the three long cells were inside a triangular cell with the corners rounded. Panned out again, and I could see three of these cells within cells. To help you get a better understanding, here is a drawing of what I had seen. It was an infinite structure shown to me in a plant-like form, kind of like a magic beanstalk, and went on and on as far as my eyes could see. While I was taking in this beautiful sight, the female pointed over to the others on the other side of this platform. I don't remember what I walked over to, but I do remember looking down below as if it was the exact same as the one I just looked above me. Just as I looked back at the female that had been walking with me, it went blank. I think that is all that was meant for me to see or to remember. Still sitting on the side of my bed, thinking and seeing these images over and over, trying to make sense of it all. Now, thinking back to this tall pink alien, it was not like the ones you would see in the documentaries or movies. He did not look like the small grays or the whites. He didn't have huge eyes like them either. He had long, thin, muscular arms and legs, 3 fingers and a thumb. Couldn't see his feet. He was tall as my bedroom ceiling, and come to think of it, he didn't even have to duck in or bend over when he entered my room. As bits and pieces of my memory came back, I remember the bright lights behind him. It didn't illuminate the trees in front of my window. I couldn't even see through this light. It definitely wasn't the kind of lights you would see around here. He started walking towards me, and due to the fact I was in complete chaotic mode, he asked me, "Do we have to go through this every time?" I don't remember answering him. It didn't sound like he spoke it vocally, but telepathically. I remember he held out his hand gesturing, "Let's go," while saying we need to speak. He did not place his hands on me to bring me to his ship. I know I walked on my own free will, but not after he calmed me down. I have seen their ships throughout my life. I know I am here for a reason. Still working on that reason. Maybe it is to share this information. It is not much, but it may connect to some of you in a way. Some of the ships I have seen were silver, reflecting the sun's light. Some were dark, just barely making the shadowy shape at night. Some were even bending light as though to see right through it like a bubble. The one that I saw cloaked against the clouds had a smaller vessel trailing behind it. Exact same shape, except smaller. I saw this one on my way to Terrace, BC. There were many times I felt the same type of high-pitched sound wave flow through me. This happened at different stages in my life. Maybe the time frame means something bigger, I don't know. But these are the only 4 times I clearly remember after hearing this, because I thought I may have just had a stroke of some kind. I had to work myself out of that fear. Well, here are those dates. 1989, when I was 19, 1997, when I was 27, 2004, when I was 34, and 2018, when I was 48. This is the one I'm speaking about now. And it is the only one I have a lot of clarity on. Speaking of ages, when I was 17, I saw something crazy. A huge green grid over the skies of Prince Rupert, BC. My cousin and I were getting ready to leave my grandmother's home. I walked out first, fiddling with my jacket zipper, while slowly walking down the walkway. With my head down, I turned to my cousin to tell him to hurry up, as we were getting ready to head out to the arcade called the Hot Spot on 2nd Avenue. It was about 8:30 in the evening with clear skies. That doesn't happen very often in the city of rainbows. As I turned back around, I was drawn up to the skies. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was huge, a huge green grid that covered all of Rupert. I stopped, rubbed my eyes. Nope, still there. I looked around the street to see if it was reflecting from a window or seeing if anyone was shining something towards the sky. Didn't notice anything. I stood there for a long time staring at this grid. I followed it over and over from one end to the other. It looked like a holographic netting in all directions, sitting on the outskirts of the atmosphere. As soon as my cousin came out, I vaguely heard him tell my brother what time we will be back home. That is the exact same time the grid disappeared. I quickly made my way over to him to let him know to look up. I said, "Hurry, it's crazy, but do you see this?" I asked, pointing to the skies. By that time, it had already fully disappeared. He casually said nope, didn't see anything, and just continued to walk past me. He looked back at me and said, "Hurry, I want to meet up with some friends at the hotspot before it gets late." So we just kept on going, not thinking too much of what I've just seen. Having a 17-year-old brain, I wanted to meet up with my friends as well. Well, fast forward 2 years ahead, I think it was the year 2004 when the high-pitched sound hit me. I started to have visions of this grid I saw back in 1987. Years later, I came upon an article about this green grid. Don't know exactly where I found it, but in the article it said that this is a shield of some sort to keep our consciousness from growing. Don't know about this in great detail, but thinking about this now, it kind of makes sense as to what is happening in the world. But we as a collective are awakening. I feel it is time that we do. We have been asleep for far too long. So this is my story. This is my life experiences. You don't have to believe me. I just needed to share. With that, as always, you are what you believe, and I believe I am here to expand minds. Sending you loads of love and light, beautiful souls you. Thank you for listening. Hi, Ganhada Medium here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to support my channel, hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell.